Is it going to be AI that makes everyone buy a new iPhone?
Well, it's interesting because Apple Intelligence isn't, as we've discussed many times, isn't going to be released until mid-October at the earliest, and these phones begin shipping on September 20th. But AI is where the marketing message is at right now. AI is what Wall Street is interested in right now. AI has been on the minds of consumers for the past several months. So that is where Apple is focusing its messaging for these new devices. In my view, what's really going to spur upgrades are people who are on older phones, whether that's the 14, the 13, 12, 11, or earlier, people who have a completely drained battery, people who have a cracked screen, people who want those nice camera upgrades. It's not really going to be the AI that's pushing these sales. It's going to be the other factors.
I think, Mark, you had access to iOS 18.1 beta version, right? And yesterday I was able to get hands-on with 16, 16 Plus, Pro and Pro Max. And the early functionality is like quite limited. Text summarization, auto response in email. There is some pretty cool image editing stuff, you know, in the version that I was able to access. But you seem to have detail as well about what happens next, a series of updates and more functionality that's perhaps at the cutting edge.
Yeah, that's right. So in 18.1, that's going to be the first version that includes Apple Intelligence. Like you said, that's going to include summarization. That's going to include phone call recording and provide you a transcription afterwards. It's going to include voice memo transcriptions. It's going to include notification summarization, notification prioritization within the Mail app. And then you have 18.2 coming in December. That's going to include things like ChatGPT integration from OpenAI. It's going to include Genmoji, where you can use text to create your own emojis. It's going to include an image playground app for generative image creation. There's an updated interface for auto email categorization within the Mail app. There's general notification prioritization across the system on your lock screen. So more bells and whistles there. But the real thing that people think about when you think about AI is Siri. And right now, Siri has an updated interface on these newer phones when you're running Apple Intelligence. But truth be told, that's just lipstick, right? Because the reality is that the underpinnings of Siri really haven't changed. And Siri is not going to change in any meaningful way until it gets its own sort of brain transplant, so to speak, in March, April of next year. That's when Siri is going to be able to do things like pull up when my mom's flight lands, or what
Right.
is the podcast that my wife sent me 2 weeks ago, right? That's the deeper integration and in-app actions that people have been waiting for. That's probably 4 to 6 months away still.